2025 meeting. We'll have the invocation. I'll do it. And pledge of allegiance by Commissioner Firstner. Please stand. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight to ask you to watch over us as we do the business for the city and citizens of this town. Hope and pray that we can do and get through this without anything causing us problems. We ask you to watch over us as we do our duties for our citizens. We also ask you to watch out for our police and the fire as they go about their daily business, and watch over everybody as we go for the summer and be safe. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Here.
Commissioner Wilson,
Here.
Mayor Johnson,
Here.
Commissioner Firstner,
Here.
Commissioner Oliver.
Here.
All right, we have presentations and proclamations. We have presentation of audit results for the fiscal year ending September the 30th, 2024. Acting Finance Director Lewinsky, is that?
Lewinsky.
First, the team of us great and presenting the city audit.
With your permission, I'd be fine presenting without. That's entirely up to you if you want the PowerPoint side of it or not.
I can reread the agenda. So how's everybody doing?
Melly, will it record? Will it record if he just talks? It'll record? Why don't you go ahead and start and if she gets it on
That's
with.
perfectly fine with me. So if I may.
Come on, yeah, you can stand, yeah,
Well, this is.
Yeah.
Well,
you go ahead.
now we're
It's
on.
recorded.
Okay. It wasn't turned on the first part. So, good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Tim Westgate. I am here to present for Purvis Gray the results of the audit for the year ended 2024. With me is Matt Gano. He's audit director on it. I'm audit partner on the engagement. As Matt mentioned earlier, Michael Sandstrom is over the IT aspect. Ultimately, we're performing a financial statement audit, though. So With these final conclusions, we've already reviewed with management the results of the audit, so this really is the final step, and I'm just going to touch on a few highlights just to give you a brief version and also provide an opportunity if you have any questions. The audit that you have received already and had an opportunity to look through, it does meet your external financial reporting requirements that fall under the Florida statutes, the rules of the Florida Auditor General, the secondary bond market in which the city participates in, other lenders, as well as federal and state granting agencies. Additionally, I'd like to point out that the city participates beyond those requirements, things you're required to do. The city participates in the GFOA, the Government Finance Officers Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. And with that, the city chooses to participate in that, and it goes above and beyond. The program encourages local governments and works with them to meet a spirit of transparency and disclosure. In here, you have the 2023 certificate, and we anticipate that this 2024 audit package will also receive that. So we commend the city's efforts in participating in that voluntary program. Touching on the auditor's report, that's the main thing that you want to hear from the auditors. Of course, we do have to place a reminder that the financial statements themselves are the responsibility of management. Our responsibility is to provide an opinion on those financial statements based on our audit. Pleased to say we are issuing and have issued a clean opinion, an unmodified opinion that is the highest level of assurance that you can have on audited financial statements. So commending your leadership and management in attaining that clean opinion. As part of our audit, we do look at internal control related to financial reporting. Again, a reminder, management is responsible for internal control. We look at internal control related to financial reporting in the process of designing our audit for that ultimate opinion on the financial statements, but we do not provide an opinion on internal control. However, if during the audit process we encounter things that we think would be material weaknesses or significant deficiencies or matters that you need to be made aware of, we would report those to you. Pleased to say that under the standards, nothing rose to that level of material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, anything like that. It is standard language reports in that regard, very boring reading, which is a good thing when you have an audit. So commend your efforts in that. As part of the audit, we are also required to issue a report on compliance with Florida Statutes 218-415. That's an examination report over investments, the investment of public funds, and how do you invest those. Pleased to say the city met those compliance requirements, and that as well is a clean report. Another report that's included in there is a management letter that is required by the rules of the Florida Auditor General. And it would talk about findings such as deteriorating financial condition, financial emergencies, such as not being able to make payroll, not being able to make, not making bond payments, items along those regards. Pleased to say nothing met those requirements as well. The last group of reports that is in the package is related to your federal single audit. Of course, the city receives federal and state grants, and this year it met the criteria for having a federal single audit. Of course, when you receive grant money, it's not freely given. It always comes with additional strings, compliance requirements attached to it. And included in that is an audit requirement that, based on a risk assessment, identifies major programs, and through that we identified the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Fund program as your major program. And we're required to look at the compliance requirements that come along with that program. Pleased to say the city did comply. We also issued an unmodified opinion, that's a clean opinion, related to that compliance. So commending your efforts and leadership in doing that. A few financial highlights that would be up on the slide, just talking about the governmental funds, primarily your major funds, your general fund, road impact fee, your ARPA funds, and your capital projects fund. All of them had increases in fund balance except the capital project fund. However, that was as budgeted, so no surprises in that decrease in fund balance. All of them still did maintain sufficient fund balance positions that met the recommendations of the GFOA, Government Finance Officers Association. what they see as the minimum fund balance requirements, as well as funding in there for future pandemics, hurricanes that may come down the line, or projects that the city wants to get into. So nothing alarming in any of those based on our analysis. Proprietary fund side, all of the funds did have an increase in net position, so a positive net income, if I could use that for-profit entity type term. However, the solid waste fund is an area that we've talked about for several years, did still have a deficit position of $843,000, improved from the prior year that you had a positive increase, so less deficit year over year. We still just continue that discussion because while rates have increased, we recognize and encourage your continued effort in identifying this, systemic process behind it, what is led there. It takes time to recover from it as well as to replenish the fund back to the positive position you'd like it to be in. Employee retirement funds was our last fund that we were going to talk about. It had a change in net position, primarily driven by investment performance this year, $22 million increase overall. General Employees Fund funding position was roughly 94% funded, very strong position, and the Police and Fire Fund just shy of 96% funded position. Great in that regard. Just running through, nearing the end of what would be the slides. A couple other discussion items. These sit in the realm of recommendations. They're not findings, not material weaknesses, but just things that we talk with management about through the process. One of those is related to the solid waste fund, which I've already recapped with you. Another one was related to an excess of expenditures over budget. And that happened in the general fund with one particular department exceeded the budget by $78,000. And that really stemmed from a process of your amending the budget is done throughout the year. There was late discovery of this over expenditure. It normally would have fallen into a budget amendment, but the allowed timeline for amending the budget had passed. And so that turned into a over expenditure without the ability to amend the budget before council. So our recommendation from that, again, a discussion item because of the relative size of this. The recommendation is just to review that budget monitoring process as well as attention to the timeliness for those budget amendments to come before the commission. Other last discussion area in the world that we're in, it was not an IT audit, but we still look at IT as part of performing our financial audit. Of course, items like ransomware attacks, very prevalent throughout the nation, throughout the world, very costly. So we just encourage the city to continue their efforts over that, to protect the city's assets, the technology side of things. We did have some recommendations we've given with management just to update some policies, perform a risk assessment over IT. So that's out there too, just discussion items at this point to continue those efforts. So with that, I will conclude by thanking Mayor, Commission for the opportunity to serve as your auditors. Thank Mr. Shadrick's Finance Department, particularly all of the city, but Finance Department who has to put up with us the most when we come in and say, show us that, explain that, pull this document and that. We do get very good cooperation through the process. So with that, I'll conclude and invite any questions you have related to the audit.
Anybody have anything from the dais? Anybody?
I have a question. I'm not sure if it's part of this process or not, but sometimes we hear a recommendation, I think it's a GFAO recommendation, on the amount of reserves to the size of the general fund when you're speaking about the funds. Mm-hmm. Do you analyze that, and do you have, I know the budget itself has grown a lot. Are you maintaining that recommended ratio of reserves?
So you have exceeded that, and that's part of what I was touching on, just not going into that level of detail, that the GFOA has recommendations out there that they recommend a minimum, absolute minimum of 2 months worth of reserves be set aside. And that would really just be cash flow, timing of tax payments versus when you need to pay expenditures. Beyond that, they have non-percentage recommendations for future capital projects. We're in Florida, so hurricanes, other factors like that. I believe the city's ratio was roughly 50%. I don't know right offhand, but it was a healthy position for whatever may be coming down the pike ahead of us. So,
Excellent, thank you.
good, thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you very much. We
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
thank you, thank you.
We don't need to vote. Okay, all right. All right, next we have the Forest Lake Golf Course 30-day update by Robert Utsi with ZHA. Let's see, Utsi.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Robert Utsi with ZHA. So we're 1 month in with our interim operator, Down to Earth, and so I'm going to ask Nick Dunleavy, the regional manager of Down to Earth, to go over a revenue recap and kind of a golf course update, and then I'll have some other things to add. Nick?
Good evening. First month is in the books, and pretty positive revenue for the month. I think year over year, the only difference, it's an $11,000 difference year over year downward. But I think weather attributes the vast majority of that. We had a wet start to the month and also a wet end to the month, unfortunately, on Saturday. The revenue level here would be the envy of just about every operator in town. These are really good numbers. We probably had added $4,000 to that deficit just on Saturday with the timing of the rain in the morning at our highest rate level. And we should have expenses in place next week. I think that's going to be favorable as well. Again, the traffic for this part of the year is normal for Forest Lake and for the market in general. Evening leagues have started, so weather permitting, that helps add revenue at the end of the day. We've introduced the 10% discount to Ocoee residents in 4 zip codes. We also have other programs in place that are actually even better than that, but if they don't do a thing, they get a 10% discount at the counter. Summer rates have started this week. We've made some adjustments to what was planned, but nothing major. And we've looked at the hours for the Rangers, but also it should be noted that our GPS system that's on the carts allows us to monitor play from the golf shop as well. So they don't see a Ranger, that doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. If they can see what the progress is of each group on the golf course. Maintenance is well underway. I've been hearing positive reviews about the golf course. I haven't had the pleasure of playing it yet, but everything I'm hearing is pretty positive. There's still work to be done, clearly. Like other courses, we try and encourage our players to repair ball marks and do things to keep the playing surfaces healthy. We've added a superintendent who's well-credentialed, worked for the company that owned Lake Noan in Isleworth, and also a well-credentialed assistant superintendent who worked at Reunion in the past. So we're very pleased with those 2 gentlemen. Irrigation, when it was extremely hot, is a problem at all golf courses. we've worked on that to make it a little more efficient. There's some repair that needed to be done to the pump station that we draw the water from the irrigation pond. If that hasn't happened yet, it's about to happen. And we've gone in with a bulk fertilizer and pre-emergent herbicide application, which will definitely help us with summer weeds, et cetera, and color as well. And lastly, we have new equipment scheduled to arrive this week. So we're going to bring in some of our own equipment to help out. There's a lot of equipment there, but a lot of it's tired. So.
Okay, great. Any questions for Nick? Okay, thank you, Nick. Talking about staffing and the restaurant, so we've done onboarding and training. We had a really good meeting with the entire staff yesterday afternoon about 6 o'clock. Very positive, and they gave us a lot of feedback, which we're going to implement. Really good ideas. It was interesting, one of the comments by one of the ladies that's on the on-course services, she said that she doesn't feel like that our prices have kept up with inflation, which I thought was really interesting. So her comment was she didn't think that we were on par price-wise with others, that were too low, right, which was good. It's great feedback.
Hold it.
Sir?
Where, in the kitchen or out on the course?
Everything, food and drinks.
Just make sure you pass those prices along to us. In that other contract, we got to look at the raising the prices, because that ain't gonna be from an average person out there when you are raising the prices up.
Yeah. We're not suggesting.
The water at 50 cents, you're still making enough to cover the cost of it.
Right.
That's a necessity out there on that course.
Right. And I'm
I
not,
don't see us raising the price, all of a sudden jumping prices up.
I'm not suggesting that's going to happen. I just wanted to share that.
It's supposed to be a local golf course.
Right. So anyway, there was a few staff that left, and the focus right now is on, adding staff. We need another server and somebody else in the kitchen. There's job postings currently right now on Down to Earth's website as well as Indeed. And the expectation is that we'll have additional staff hired within the next few weeks.
I got one more.
Yes, sir.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
But the balls that are out there for practice balls has been there a long time. Why did we raise it $1? You went from $9 to $10. Why is that? That's what I'm talking about. The average person come out there and hit golf balls, you raise them from $9 to $10. Just asking the question.
Okay.
Without that,
It's relative to what other people are charging around town. We were definitely on.
People somewhere else.
Okay,
Ellsworth charges more than we charge, so does Bay Hill, so I'm not really worried about what them other people are charging.
Well, I'm not talking about Bay Hill. I'm not talking about Bay Hill. I'm talking
No, I
about.
know, but I'm just saying.
Comparable.
I don't want to put comp with them, I want to do what we do.
We're still low.
I'm not trying to argue with you, but I'm just saying, it is for average people to go out there and play, and hit golf balls, learn how to play, like you want to take your grandchild out there, if you want to take $10 is that for the big box, the big thing, or the little one? Or is it just one thing?
No, I think there's three different
Well, I'm
levels.
saying, but just even raising $1 is kind of off course for me. That's my opinion, so I just think we didn't need to raise that already.
We'll be happy to share any price changes with you going forward.
That's what I'd like to see.
Okay?
We already raised one, we didn't see it, so, so that's what we're talking about. I don't want to take that course and make it where it's going to be out of people, to be able to, average person can go out there and play golf.
I can assure you that's not the intention
All right,
whatsoever.
well, it is when you start raising the prices, so.
Okay?
Okay. So once the staffing is stabilized and we add some more staff, we will adjust the hours in the morning and the afternoon for the food service. Currently, the bar is open till 7 o'clock every day. There's full food service between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. currently. We'll expand that once we get these other staffers on board. And between 7 and 10 a.m. every day, there's danishes, muffins, prepackaged biscuits, and coffee every day. And, from 3 to 7, there's hot dogs and packaged foods and snacks available till 7 o'clock. And the on-course beverage and snack cart operates Monday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Back up again a minute, I'm gonna ask one more question.
Yes, sir.
So I guess the first thing you told us about it being open to 6 o'clock is not true, right? From 7 o'clock to 6 o'clock for the restaurant. That's what we were told. You also said it, 7 o'clock to 6 o'clock.
Yeah, so
I know, and also if you go in there, and I know guys do it, you play golf after, they played at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock now with the daylight series or whatever it is, and they're coming there to get something.
so right now, we're open till 7 p.m.
I thought you just said it was gonna be to 3.
Between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. is full service food, okay, right now. Once we get somebody else in the kitchen and another person on staff, we're going to offer full service food later than 3 p.m. Right now, it's 3 p.m., right?
I know, but that's not what we stated to start with.
You mean,
Mayor, I announced to the commission a correction in the practice from what was originally portrayed to us, having the restaurant hours from 7 to 6, and I announced that last week as a correction, citing the lack of kitchen staff and server staff to do so. But I think you guys are hearing the message. We need to get staffed up and get that operating. as soon
yeah,
as possible.
and that's the intent. That should be done within the next, by the middle of the month at the latest. Okay, so now, something really exciting that's happened is we were able to get with the First Tee of Central Florida, and they're going to start summer classes starting this month, starting June 2nd, which is yesterday.
Great.
So this is something, the First Tee's been wanting to be at Forest Lake for a long, long time and never could gain any traction. So our friend Scott Wellington here, he's with PGA of America. He's on the board of the First Tee. He was the tournament director at the Arnold Palmer Invitational for 12 years. And he helped initiate and facilitate a discussion between us and First Tee. And this just happened in the last few weeks. So, Scott, thanks for helping make this happen. And it's going to have a big positive impact at the golf course.
One more, the age group goes 10 to 13, 14-year-olds, what we do with them? I know I got a granddaughter who's wanting to play golf, and I told her this was gonna be starting at 0. So what do we do about those age groups?
I'm sure we can get her in.
I mean, they're in middle school, whatever they are.
The ages typically run up to 18, so I'm not sure why we're just doing the younger kids there, but.
Huh? Go up to the podium. I don't know most of these guys. I know everybody asked about it. The kids, this is the summertime, and this is when we need to do that. And like I said, that would bug me to death I don't want to be teaching them how to play.
First Tee, we run programs from ages 7 to 18. So yeah, I don't know specifically why. I don't know, Nick, if
Maybe put 14 to 18 on there, I don't know.
do you know if Kenny about the age range of the classes? Is there a reason why we're limiting it to? Okay. Yeah, I don't know, but I'll find
We put
out.
14 to 18 on it or something like that?
I'm sure we could.
I mean,
We will.
some of us might need to put older deals on there before I could go get lessons, but that's.
That's great feedback, and
Yeah, absolutely. It's good feedback.
yeah, and.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We'll that's good. That's
No,
what
it's good.
we
All
need to
good.
hear that. That's exactly what we need to hear.
Thank you for letting us come
When
and
is that,
participate.
when's that supposed to start? I can't,
Started
Started
yesterday,
yesterday.
okay,
June 2nd to July 29th.
all right.
So the good news is we've got started, right? And this is going to track the whole different group of folks out to Forest Lake.
Oh, yeah.
Any other questions on that?
Yep, what's the cost?
The
I see the flyer, but the flyer didn't have a cost.
What about the cost for this? No cost,
No cost?
no cost.
Right. Robert, Mayor, permission to speak for a second? Can you go into a little bit of detail about First Tee? This is a very big deal that we have them here, and since Mr. Wellington's here, maybe.
Yeah, I'd really
talk
like
a little
Scott
bit.
to.
I wanted to do it justice. You know, this is a great program, as you heard. It's a complimentary program, and it's pretty widespread, and we're very fortunate that we were able to bring them into Forest Lake. If you wouldn't mind, just say a little bit about First Tee in general.
Yeah, when you look around, I've been in the golf business 30 plus years, and I was involved very initially back in around the late 90s with when the First Tee started nationally. It was born out of basically a PGA Tour initiative back then. Grew exponentially over that period of time through the late 80s into the early 2000s. Basically as an introductory golf program for youth, typically for underserved communities. And they really focus, honestly, more on life skills than they do golf skills. So that's really kind of been the foundation of the First Tee and what they stand for. It's really, like I said, it was really kind of the first initial national program out there. Now you have PGA Junior League, Drive, Chip, and Putt. You have all these other programs that have come into play. But the First Tee nationally has really been the first one, and the ability to sustain and grow over time has been huge. So here in Central Florida, when I was at Bay Hill running the tournament, it took the First Tee a while to get some traction here in Central Florida. They've been around now for about 10 years. And again, slow growth and ability to kind of get into local facilities around here has been somewhat challenging at times, similar to what we had with you all with Forest Lake. But we're thrilled to be there, and we're just in the process of hiring a new CEO, executive director for the First Tee of Central Florida as well. So we have some exciting things coming on board. I've been on the board of the First Tee for about a year now, so I'm still relatively new, but we're thrilled to be at Forest Lake for sure. So thank you.
And that's Tuesdays, right? That's the day you do it? Not every day, right? Just Tuesdays, right? Tuesdays.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. That's.
And I think Scott, Scott and the First Tee has big plans to stay at Forest Lake for a long time. I mean,
I've been waiting a long time.
They want to have a big presence there, and so we're going to work with them.
Yeah, we have a big vision to find a new home for the First Tee of Central Florida, and we're on the lookout for an opportunity to do that, to kind of call a home facility our home for the First Tee. So again, if that comes into play down the road, who knows? But we'd be certainly interested in talking to you all.
Okay. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Scott.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. I have a couple comments and questions for you. First of all, thank you very much for the First Tee, and I also saw the Ocoee golf team sign. I appreciate you supporting those activities very much. And that relates to my question about the range balls. I think that's important, and I want to see more discounts for members and residents. So I'm actually fine. I wouldn't care if you charged $15 for a bag of balls, as long as it was $9 for Ocoee residents and members. I want more stratification between the prices for tourists. People who come to Florida, who are coming to play golf, can afford it, and they're not the type of people the mayor's speaking about, which are, you know, our vision for this course is an amenity for Ocoee residents. So the amenity isn't for them. They're welcome to come pay to play. And I think we need new range balls, especially if you're going to have a youth program. My other question is, I'm familiar with some of the youth programs. Are y'all going to publicize and ask for donated clubs and things? Are there still initiatives, like, do y'all still need stuff like that? And are we participating?
Yeah. The answer is yes. I mean, we certainly can use that equipment for sure. I don't know currently. I'll have to check with Kenny and see what our current kind of stash is, so to speak, how much we have or don't have at this point, and how much
Like,
we.
do we drop, if we have stuff, do we just drop it off at the pro shop, or how's that
Yeah,
work?
I don't know how to facilitate it with
If you'd work
you.
on that.
A lot of kids aren't using the stuff that we used, you know?
Yeah, I'm just asking, yeah. I know that when it started out, that was a big part of the program.
Yeah, if what we found, I think, over time is, you know, if kids register for the program, typically they're gonna come with clubs.
Okay.
But there's always cases where kids don't have clubs too.
Yeah.
So
Well, let us know what you need and how we can
Absolutely.
help publicize,
Absolutely.
and the city can
Oh, that's great.
reciprocate with that. My last point was the beverage cart. I agree with some of the comments the mayor made. The beverage cart is not running till 6 o'clock. I'll just tell you that. Pretty common. The young ladies go by about 2:30 or 3, last run for the day. I get it, it's 100 degrees. But, and I don't really care. I think most beverage carts stop about 3:30 or 4 and break down. But again, I think it comes to the mayor's point of, let's just figure out what the rule is, and if the beverage cart's gonna run on the course till 4, great. If it's gonna run till 6, you've got a problem, because it's not.
Okay. What I would do without direction is, if it doesn't make sense for it to be out there because there's just not the traffic, pull it in.
I agree.
Yesterday, we had to share a little staff too, because we were short, you know, somebody couldn't work, so
Sure.
So a 7-day-a-week beverage cart is probably less common
I agree.
at most
Yeah,
places.
I'm just
So-
saying, get the messaging and the standard with what it should be, so we don't have these sorts of conversations over and over and over.
Fair enough.
Especially, I would say, I know, I've seen some improvements, congratulations on that. I'd like to see, like, the ruts on 5 filled and smoothed out. I was disappointed to see some of those, what I would, as a non-golf superintendent, think is a simple thing to throw some dirt out, but I do see some improvements. I saw the mowing seemed better, and I know you got better equipment coming.
Yeah.
I know we're in a learning phase. I would just say, take these things and let's roll them into the RFP and make sure we get it right by November. You know, let's work on it. But yeah, the beverage cart, I agree. I don't think it needs to run till 6, but it's not, and that was said. So I think it's important for us to make sure that we're keeping the promise to the citizens, since it is a public, semi-public course. Thank
Fair
you.
enough.
That's it.
I want to make another quick comment. I'm with what Commissioner Kennedy said is exactly what I was meant to say about the fees. The $9 is for the local people. You can charge $12 or whatever you want to charge for the ones that come in from out of town. The problem over the years has always been, and I know he plays a lot of golf, and a lot of people, out-of-towners come in for the winter, they're getting the same price we're getting, and we've been there all summer and spring playing golf and paying the money. So that's what I'm saying. And the other thing is, and I brought it up, the $18 that you're charging people to get to 10%, I want to see that gone. May not do it till we get this new system set up, but the $18 is a way to make, I call it spending money. That's not what we started when we started this thing, that Ocoee residents get 10%. They don't have to pay $18 to get that 10%.
Correct, so that's,
And I know I did.
That's the case.
I did that a couple weeks ago.
right, but since you and I spoke about it, that's no
right.
longer the
That's- I
case.
just want to see us, this is stuff we need to get worked out, just what he said before we get into all this.
Yeah.
And I will say too, I went out there with my son last, I think Friday or something, I can't remember, and I couldn't hardly hit the ball, but it looks better than it's looked in a long time. It's looking good. Some of the, I really like looking at 16. I haven't got to play it yet, but I went over and looked at it and showed him. It looks good. So I will tell you, and the grass around it's looking better too, so.
Thank you, yeah, there's more work to do, but thank you, yeah.
Yeah, and I will say, my son says the chicken fingers are really good out there. So you want chicken fingers, go out there, because they got good chicken fingers.
Well, Nick and I meet at least once a week. We talk 3 or 4 times a week. He's very receptive and accommodating to feedback, which I appreciate. And he's like any good leader. He supports his team and doesn't micromanage his team. And the big picture is get the golf course as healthy as we can, as quick as we can. So some of the other things that we wish got done right now are not at the top of the priority list. And I know I played out there Saturday too, and I've played there a lot. And they'll get to it, right? They're 1 month in, but they're good partners, and so we will, and we appreciate your feedback. We want your feedback. Now, talking about feedback, this thing won't move for me now. What happened? Oh, there we go. Okay. So, we've already started getting feedback from the patrons. So I was out there, I played this past Saturday, but the Saturday before, I spent, probably 6 hours just driving around on a golf cart by myself and just talking to patrons, and I actually parked at the intersection of golfers going from 8 green to 9T and from 17 green to 18T. And I stopped and, gave them my card, and I said, look, we're just looking for feedback. We want to have a great golf course, great service, and, take a few minutes and just give me feedback so we can share it. So this is some of the actual feedback. I got emails over the next 2 or 3 days. I saw the mayor out there, and I was out there Sunday too. And so this feedback goes straight to Nick and his team. The feedback we got last night from the staff, which was very good. So we are actively on a continuum, taking feedback and doing something about it. We also have instituted this guest survey that you see on the screen that's on every golf cart, right?
It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. It's going to be put on every golf cart. And we're going to do a monthly drawing for a free foursome from what we get. So that encourages them to fill it out. They give it to Robert in the cart barn when they turn in their cart, right? So we're going to get real feedback, and it shows the patrons that we care, right? And when we actually go do these things that they're talking about, then they really just elevates the golf course, right? And how they feel about it. So I appreciate that, Nick, and that's going to be very positive. So, any questions on that? Okay.
Just a comment. That's the potholes I was mentioning. The comments about the Ranger are absolutely correct. Historically, the Rangers have not encouraged fast play. They have not encouraged fixing divots. They have not encouraged fixing ball marks. Typically, the Rangers out there just drive around and fix divots themselves, and people see them do that, and they think their perception is that they don't have to do it because the Ranger's going to do it.
Great.
I don't know how you manage that.
Well, that's great feedback. I mean, I talked to the Rangers last night at our staff meeting.
Yeah.
And
The Rangers do a good job of driving out and filling divots.
absolutely.
But the type of clientele that is out there doesn't take the responsibility to fix it.
And as the Rangers are observing the golfers, if they're seeing golfers that are not repairing their divots, just ride up and say, hey, guy, take care of your golf course. And if they're not repairing the ball marks, do the same thing. Eventually, it'll change behaviors, right? So that's the goal. And so, very exciting. This was the ad that was put out on May 28th, and city manager has copies that he can share with you all if you'd like. So this ad went out the 28th, and then the RFP is out. It went out, it's on the street. Okay, the full RFP, yes, sir.
Go ahead, I got one more little comment, but it's not, nothing.
Okay, the full RFP with input from all of you, and, a lot of good input, a lot of detail. It's a very prescriptive RFP. It leaves no doubt about expectations. And, one of the big things, two big things in this RFP. The next operator is going to have a lot of experience operating a golf course and a multi-purpose venue, golf course, restaurant, range, right? In the 2020s, right? Not from the 1980s. And they're going to have to make significant capital investment, right? In the scoring of the proposals, 30 points for the capital investment strategy approach, right? So the RFP's out, and we're going to have a pre-proposal meeting on site on June 16th, and anybody that wants to propose is going to have to show up to that meeting, right? If you don't come to that meeting, you can't submit a proposal. It won't be accepted, because we want serious players. We want the people that really are serious and understand what the opportunity is, and also understand that that's going to require a big check to be written just to have the privilege of being a partner with the city of Ocoee, right? And then the proposals will be due August 5th. I also included, in what we gave you there, a timeline all the way from today all the way through selection of the next operator, just so you know. And so that's very exciting that we got to this point. Yes, sir.
It's just a requirement here. I don't know what the legal contracts or anything like that is, but we're a mandatory pre-proposal conference. When you put the address, Forest Lake Golf Club, 10521 Clear Corner, Ocoee Road, Ocoee, it's a Popka address. That address out there is a Popka. We've got a messed up zip code around here, but I will tell you that mailing address is a Popka, that address. So make sure all the legal numbers are right and stuff is right.
We'll make sure the staff knows that. They've been very helpful in helping us get all this put together, and
Yeah, that side of the road is
right.
Clear Popka. It's not a Popka, but they think they are. I know. We got a gentleman back there that lives in a Popka. Says I was at a function not long ago, and the eye doctor told me it was. I said, "Where do you live?" And he said, "A Popka." I said, "Oh, it's next door to us." I said, "What's the?" He said, "I live in Arden Park." No, sir, you live in Ocoee. Now he's lived there 3 years, and he tells people he lives in a Popka. So yeah, we need to make sure because that address is a Popka, but I know they're supposed to have a mailing P.O. box down at the post office. I guess they still do, maybe they don't. Okay.
So just one other quick comment. So I did a little tour of golf courses, golf clubs in the area over the last week, and I went to Claremont National. Have any of y'all been to Claremont National?
Yeah, I went out and looked at it.
Yeah, what's going on out there is unbelievable. I mean, I went out there last Saturday afternoon, and you couldn't even get a parking spot. The range area was packed with kids and families.
A range that works on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. And, they got food service out there. They got other kids' games going on. So if you want to go and hit some balls, do other stuff for your kids to do. There was a baby shower going on in the clubhouse, along with all their other stuff. So that's kind of an example of the kind of thing that could happen for us, and that's what we're looking for is an operator that has a real innovative and forward-thinking approach. Also, Dubs Dread is making a big investment. City of Orlando owns Dubs Dread. They're redoing their whole range, making it like Claremont National. Heathrow just did the same thing. Rio Pinar has it that way. So, and what you see when you go out and look at that is a lot of activity and a lot of food and beverage and a lot of revenue.
And a lot of of introduction to golf.
A lot of introduction to golf, and a lot of community building too. I mean, it's really, I was amazed. I mean, to see all that going on, and also a baby shower going on, a big one, right? So I put together a little package and shared that with city manager, and we're going to share this with those who show up at the pre-proposal meeting too. We're going to just give them this packet, which is pictures from all those different courses and what they got going on. So our expectations will be very clear. And so we expect to get a good response. And, okay, any other questions?
Nope, anybody else?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank y'all. Back to where I'm at here. All right, staff reports.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one note here. Staff, on behalf of staff, we're requesting to continue item 9 to a future date to be determined. You will still have to open the hearing and continue it to a date uncertain and close the hearing. But this variance request is part of a much bigger picture with numerous residents having the same issue. And so we're trying to do some analysis, and we'll be bringing back an item to the commission to try to address that in more of a global way than just having a whole bunch of variances. We want to make sure you understand what the issue is. So that's why we're requesting the continuance.
Okay with everybody?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, that it? Greg?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay. Public comments. I have no forms filled out. Who? Okay.
I'm Doug Gomber, live in White Hill subdivision. I'm here to comment on the golf course. I sat here and listened to this, and I'm telling you right now, you're setting yourself up for failure. Between what Rusty wants and what you were talking about is two different animals. Every one of the golf courses you went to look at, except in a Dubsdread, is a semi-private golf course with big membership fees. Claremont charges $3,000 to $5,000 membership with the intention of going private. Rio Pinar charges $3,000 for their members with the intention of going private. All those are different than what you want. You're setting yourself up for failure here, people. If you're going to try to get a golf course that's amenities for Oviedo or for Ocoee, that's one thing. You're not going to be able to do all these capital improvements. You talk about bringing a guy in here that's going to make a capital investment of X number of dollars where he's not going to be able to get private money like that. Where's it going to come from? Is the city going to give up their profit margin for all the capital improvements? I don't think so. But you're so far apart in what you want to do, you got to look at this. I've been playing golf for my whole life. I know what private clubs are like. I know what semi-private's like. I know what pure public is like. You're not on the same page. And I haven't looked at the RFP. I don't know how it's going to read. I didn't get a chance to look at it. But I'm telling you, and then you're going to make people come out for a pre-conference, and if they don't come out, they don't get the bid? Who's going to be out there shaking the trees to get these people to come and look for you? Who's going to do that? They're just not going to go to the
Already
RFP
people
page.
wanting to do that.
Pardon?
There's already people wanting to do that.
Yeah, but how many, Rusty? I don't know
I
how
don't
many you're
know how
going to
many
get.
yet, but we got to find out.
You're going to need a ton.
Thank you, Mayor. Doug, we have a good rapport. I think this is a little bit of a overreaction. I think we can do both things, and that's what the RFP reflects. The goal from day one has been to make this an extremely affordable venue for Ocoee residents, and that is going to be cornerstone to whoever we bring in. We do have an opportunity to significantly elevate the quality of the facility, and that's the goal. And I can understand why that might make you feel that way, but I'll state this unequivocally for the record. There is no intention of making this into a venue that Ocoee residents can't enjoy at a very reasonable price. And I'll give you Orange County National as a good example. It's a very low price during summer months for residents compared to, and I have a lot of friends that play down there that don't live in Orange County, and they all complain because they're subsidizing a great venue for Orange County residents. But that's kind of the same model that we're hoping to have. So great restaurant, some great partners on site, the driving range experience that Claremont and some of these other places that Robert mentioned. We want our residents to enjoy that and be able to enjoy golf at a very low price. But we think with the tourism angle for this, we can subsidize a lot of these things with people that want to come and try to get a foursome that just happen to be in town, and that's really the goal here. And I don't that's really that's it in a nutshell. We can sit down and talk about this later, but
My only point is, I want you to understand that the money that comes in to do what Claremont is doing, what Rio Pinar did, all came from their membership. Because there's money being spent there that we're not asking our people to do. And I know what Rusty's talking about, I know what Scott, you're talking about, you want to keep that cost down. But without people coming and knocking $3,000 and $5,000 a pop in there, you're not going to have the money to do some of these things you're looking at. That's all I want to say.
That's true.
that's true. And those are not mutually exclusive.
All right. Who was up?
If no more public
I didn't get that
comments.
form. You got it down there, Melanie? Okay. All right. Any more? That's all. I don't have any more. So we're going to go to consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Commissioner Kennedy makes a motion for the consent agenda. Do I?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any more comments? If not, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, item number, first reading of ordinance will be, the public comments will be at the next meeting, which is, what is the date? Second? It'll be the 17th, June the 17th. All right, you can read the.
Yes, sir. There are a whole bunch of ordinances here to read. There are 3 different properties. For each property, we need an annexation and a rezoning ordinance to be read. So the first is the annexation ordinance for 524 Woodson Avenue, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately 0.35 acres located at 524 Woodson Avenue on the west side of Woodson Avenue and south of Center Street, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement, providing for and authorizing the update of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, and providing for an effective date. The next is the rezoning ordinance for 524 Woodson Avenue, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County R1, single-family dwelling district, to City of Ocoee R1A, single-family dwelling district, on certain real property containing approximately 0.35 acres located at 524 Woodson Avenue on the west side of Woodson Avenue and south of Center Street, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. The next is the annexation ordinance for 518 Woodson Avenue, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately 0.38 acres located at 518 Woodson Avenue on the west side of Woodson Avenue and south of Center Street, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement, providing for and authorizing the update of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, and providing for an effective date. Next is the rezoning ordinance for 518 Woodson Avenue, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County R1 Single-Family Dwelling District to City of Ocoee R1A Single-Family Dwelling District on certain real property containing approximately 0.38 acres located at 518 Woodson Avenue on the west side of Woodson Avenue and south of Center Street, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. We're not done yet. Next is the annexation ordinance for 508 Woodson Avenue. An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately .38 acres located at 508 Woodson Avenue on the west side of Woodson Avenue and south of Center Street, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement, providing for and authorizing the update of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, and providing for an effective date. Lastly, rezoning ordinance for 508 Woodson Avenue, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County R1 Single Family Dwelling District to City of Ocoee R1A Single Family Dwelling District on certain real property containing approximately .38 acres located at 508 Woodson Avenue on the west side of Woodson Avenue and south of Center Street, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
That it?
That's it.
Remember, June the 17th will be the second reading, and there'll be public comments. All right, we going down, we don't, public hearings. Number 9, we pulled to a later time. Regular agenda, we have any?
Yeah, do we need to open that up?
Do we need to?
That's my question for you.
Yeah.
Well, he needs to
Well-
tell us.
Should we open it and then announce that it's being continued
I would,
to be determined, and then close it?
I'd like us to do that.
All right, we'll open it for public hearing for number 9 for 1561 Dusty Pine Drive. Permit maintenance, property variance request.
And then just ask for a motion to continue.
Motion to continue. Motion made by Commissioner Wilson. Seconded by Commissioner Kennedy. Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right. Comments from commissioners. Before we do that, a little reading time. June events, Ocoee Community Market, Thursday, June the 5th, 5 p.m. through 9 p.m., Ocoee Lakeshore Center. This month's market is focused on Superhero Summer. Cookies and milk, well, I will say, the chief's still here? No, I don't see him. The police are going to have a busy month. Cookies and Milk with the Cops, Summer Series. Story time will be held on Fridays, June the 6th and the 27th, and July the 11th and the 25th from 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., West Oaks Library Branch. Registration is required. Visit ocoee.org or the classes and events page on the Orange County Library's website to register. Friday with Ocoee PD, Friday, June the 13th, 5 p.m. through 7 p.m. Chick-fil-A on Highway 50. Enjoy a free small waffle fry and meet your local officers. The event provides an opportunity for residents to ask questions and get to know the officers in their neighborhood. Casting with a Cop, Saturday, June the 14th, 8 a.m. through 10 a.m., Bill Breeze Park. Registration is required. Visit ocoee.org to register. Equipment will be provided. Children must be accompanied by a guardian and wear closed-toed shoes. All right, Commissioner Kennedy, go ahead and.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple comments. First, on item number 9, I think that's a great decision. I appreciate staff recommending that. I watched, I don't know if everybody watched the P&Z hearing that preceded that item coming to us. But I was really dreading this tonight, and I think it's a lot of wisdom to search a group solution for that neighborhood in District 1. I just want to respond to the comments, the public comment about the golf course. I agree completely, I think, with the meat of what you're saying. And I think when we started this, I certainly vocalized that we want something like a Dubstred that remains public. I think there are some amenities. I think, I can't remember, but we had our rehearsal dinner at Dubstred, and I know that the building that's there now didn't look like it looks now at that time. And I know they spent a bunch of money at one time and shut it down and redid the whole golf course and re-architected it. And now they're going to spend some more money. So I think there is a realization, and you hit on it, something will have to give. I realize that as we talk through the RFP, and I think that hasn't been discussed publicly, the process of going through the RFP, getting the proposals, and then there's a process built into that to review those and kind of pick from the suggestions. We're really, the team from ZHA has been incredible, and they're really looking for the proposers to creatively solve some of the problems that you brought up, that are the conflicts, and to split the baby in half, so to speak, with, and I do agree, and I'm actually open to what the financing plan, you asked. Yes, we might have to help with some capital financing, or let them borrow at our borrowing rate, or something of that nature. There are going to be some gaps, probably, where we have to negotiate. Not to relive the past, but that's one of the reasons that I wanted to save my powder for now and not give it to the other LLC. But you raise good points, and I just want to reiterate that the underlying vision is to have like a Dubstred in the city of Ocoee, and to maintain the vision that it's an amenity primarily for the residents, certainly the golf course. I think the off-golf course, the golf, what I'm calling the golf-themed venue, the driving range, maybe something more elaborate, is a great way to introduce non-core golfers to the game and make food and beverage revenue, host some weddings, host things like that. And I think that, as Craig said as well, will help subsidize the amenity for the residents and give us, a new clubhouse and things like that we want. So I think you raised good points. I just wanted to validate those and clearly state where I'm coming from. That's it.
Commissioner Wilson.
I would say I appreciate all the comments because, again, as a non-golfer, I appreciate what everyone has to say because it's becoming an education in itself, learning all this. And, I look at the restaurant side of it more than I do at the golfing side. And I would love to see us have the opportunity to have something like Dubstred, where folks can come who don't play golf, come and eat, and we've probably all been to weddings there. So, again, I'm getting an education all in this on my own. So here to learn. That's part of all of our opportunity, whether we're at the commission or as residents. It's a learning process. I had the opportunity to go to ribbon cutting at our new Hampton Inn yesterday. Lovely facility. And, it just makes you realize what we have to offer in Ocoee and how much everything has changed. And I can't stress enough to our residents, if we don't, should I say, go to these establishments and spend our money here in Ocoee, you're not going to invite other establishments to come into Ocoee. So it's just like the golf course. If that is a venue that we can go eat, let's go there. We all say how we want restaurants, we want businesses. Well, unless we, partake in these establishments, we're not going to invite more in. So again, I know I go to Claremont, I go to Winter Garden, I know that. I'm just like the rest of you, but I do try very hard to stay in Ocoee and do my shopping, spend my money in Ocoee. I'm very happy when I talk to folks. Please spend your money here, buy gas in Ocoee. You come to visit, please buy gas. Go to our restaurants. And again, I can't stress that enough because that's where some of our tax dollars comes from. And we all don't like to see establishments close. How many times have I heard how sad it is Hardee's is closed? And I can see the head shaking. Yes, we are unhappy Hardee's closed. But again, we have to participate and, should I say, visit these venues. So please, spend your money in Ocoee. Think about that before you leave town and spend it somewhere else. I think it's just going to help us from the golf course on. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Commissioner Forstner.
I just wanted to thank Steve Krug and the Public Works Department for the resurfacing of McGuire Road. It's coming along great, and all the residents down there are looking forward to the completion of that. It's going to really help out. That's all.
Oliver.
I wasn't going to make any comments about the golf course, but I find myself kind of drawn to this. I'm still, we talked about capital improvements and what the cost is going to be on capital improvements. And just the other day, I was looking at the document that we received when we first started this, showing about $7 million worth of improvements that need to be held on the golf course. And I don't hear any mention of that. We talked about we talked about the golf cart, the food cart, the restaurant, the greens. We talked about all those things. But what I would like to see is I want to see a running total as to how we addressing these issues, and is the cost going down? How is it going down? When we started with 7 million, we've made these improvements, and now we're down to 5. Now we're down to 3. I want to know how that's being spent, or how are we attacking that project? So we just can't mention it and give me this booklet showing all these different discrepancies. This book is about 1 inch thick. $7 million, and then all of a sudden, we're not talking about it anymore. I need that to stay on the foreground, because I want to be able to track that and make sure that it's happening, and we're actually taking care of it. How's it being taken care of? Where's the money coming from? Who's spending it? So that's just my comment on that. You don't have to address it, but that's just my comment on it. Hurricane season started January 1st. We had the summer seemed to start right after Christmas. It heated up, and we've been dealing with 90+ degree temperatures. So that means that it's a possibility that we may have an active hurricane season. So it started January 1st, June 1st. So please start looking at hurricane preparedness right now. So once we actually get into hurricane season, you won't be caught off guard if we end up with a very active hurricane season. Think about the essentials that you need for hurricane season, and start looking at that, and get your list together, and start preparing your home and preparing everything you're going to need to get that done. McCormick Road is open, so thanks to the staff for the letters that they've sent out, and the communication they had with the county on opening up that road. So I know there's at least 4 subdivisions that was affected by it, and a lot of them are happy that the road is open up, and some of the residents still don't know it's open up as of yet, but I'm sure they'll start to see that folks are traveling up and down that road as of now. One of the next things that I really want to talk about is with staff. I want to see if I can get a letter to the county regarding the traffic light that's not in existence right now at the corner of McCormick and Apopka-Vining Road. City manager, I want to see if we can get a letter to the county to see if we can say, hey, you guys are close to that 50% threshold that you talked about, and getting that light up there. So it seems to be pretty effective, the communication we've had with them so far. So we may be able to get some activity as far as at least a response as to when are we going to start looking at the design and the preparation for that light at that corner. Are we okay with that, city manager?
Yes. Yes, sir. I am more than happy to dispatch a letter to the county on behalf of the mayor and commission if there's a consensus to do so.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And I had the opportunity to participate, or not participate, but actually I went to the Ocoee High School graduation. That was Friday the 30th. And just want to say that we should be really proud of the students at our high school, because we graduated over 600 students at our local high school. And out of 600 students, there was a 100% graduation rate. 100% graduation rate. Those kids also received over $10 million in scholarships nationwide. So we have a lot to be proud of in our city. So our high schoolers are excelling at a rate that Orange County has not really seen in a long, long time. So just want to let you guys know that. And then finally, I will leave you with this. Life is like a book. Some chapters are sad, some are happy, some are exciting. But if you never turn the page, you will never know what the next chapter has in store for you. I'm done. Thank you.
All right, the couple of things back to about the golf course. My whole thing is, this thing started back 28 years ago, 30 years ago, about the golf course. The main reason the golf course started was citizens of Ocoee and the sewer facility, pumping sewer, that effluent out to it. I'm not saying cheap, I'm not saying make it cheap, but I'm just saying give the citizens of this town, they own it. They own that golf course. We don't own it. Citizens, it's a citizens golf course. And it was stated that that's what it was for. And I'm not saying not charge an amount, but you make it a reasonable amount for people that live here, and it's part of their life and part of their thing we did for the recreation department thing through the state. So, and listen, Dubstred, I went in there and asked the guy in the Dubstred and the guy that sends them out, they get a discount for Orlando, city of Orlando get a discount. Besides that, their whole budget is way more than what ours is. And if somebody doesn't want to come here, I believe that you'll find more than 2 or 3 people going to put in for this thing. And they're going to understand what the process is to do it. So if they sign up to do that, we'll see what it is. Because, like I said, I pay, when I go out there, I pay, or whatever. If I take people to go out there, I pay. But the thing of it is, you gotta put money back. One of the reasons that course got what it was, it never took the profit they were making and did not put it back out there to make the golf course what it should have been. If they'd have put the money back in, we wouldn't be in this predicament where we're at now with what the cost is gonna be and what else it was. But that's beside the point now. We're moving on with that. And I think you're gonna find out that there's gonna be more than probably 3. I think I know 3 that'll probably bid on that thing. I think those guys that are here tonight are gonna bid on it. So he knows full well what we're talking about. But I'm just saying, you gotta be fair to the citizens, because it is their place, and let them, I'm not saying they can go out there and play for $10. You gotta pay, but it doesn't hurt to have, and believe me, when you go out there during the week, if it ain't 100 degrees, it's packed. I mean, that parking lot is full, and people are playing golf. So that's what we want to see.
Mayor?
I think that's one of our things. But the other thing is on the sidewalks, Craig. I read a thing maybe 3 weeks ago that they had the money was funded back in October. I want to see the concrete sidewalks, and I wanted to see them in some of the old subdivisions. Nothing against people who live in the new ones, but the old ones have got to be addressed. That's been there for 30, 40, 50 years. And I carried you out and showed you some of them that's been marked for maybe 2 years to be worked on, and they haven't been worked on. So I don't think we should pass the budget in October and then wait 10 months, 8 months till we address the issue with that. The department's got to address the issue ahead of time.
Mayor, let me start with sidewalks. I completely agree with you. It is unacceptable to wait that late in the game to start the sidewalk program. That is being dealt with and has been dealt with, and that will not happen again. Today, they were in Prima Vista. They began doing cutting. They were rained out. They will be back in Prima Vista tomorrow. The sidewalk program, it has commenced. We will have expended all of this year's budgeted revenues, budgeted allocation before the end of the fiscal year. We are working right now to see if there is a possibility we might be able to use some savings we've experienced in other projects to do even more. Public Works Department has done a complete inventory now of all the sidewalks. And I'm going to present that to you because one of the things that's been very important to me is every year we've been trying to, and you guys have been great about, let's increase the sidewalk budget. What kind of chunk is that knocking off the universal suite of what's wrong out there with sidewalks? We are going to have an actual inventory, and I may be proposing, it depends on a lot of moving variables right now with regard to our revenues and what happens at a state level. I may propose a significant increase now that we know how. We have a pretty good handle on a better strategy to get people working as soon as the new fiscal year begins. So my goal is to have every sidewalk repaired within a record time. And that will allow us to bring it under a maintenance control type scenario. And so we're not having to put $300,000-$400,000 a year. Let's just knock it out. It's only going to get more expensive, the labor is. So I wanted to let you know those are the things that are happening right now. And that I did want to go back to the golf course for a minute because you guys have all been unified in saying that you want to keep that at a reasonable rate for the residents. And that is a cornerstone piece of this RFP. And we've tried to take all the feedback we received from you to make sure that's the case. Back on what Commissioner Oliver said, he's exactly right. We identified $7 million worth of things that are wrong out there. With the interim operator, we're tackling a few of those things. The turf's going to be in better shape, et cetera, et cetera. But the capital investment that has been the subject of some discussion tonight is exactly what's going to be required with that $7 million worth of problems. The cart barn facility, we're going to be looking at a lot of brand-new facilities that are going to need to be constructed because of the results of our work out there and the deferred maintenance that we identified for you. And it's a very exciting time. With the RFP, we're going to do a short list. The City Commission is going to be provided all the proposals. They'll be provided with a recommended short list. You guys will decide who the final short list is, and then they will be required to undergo a round 2 series of requirements before you make the final selection. And we plan to have this wrapped up along a similar time frame. We give ourselves a little bit of time on the timeline just in case negotiations with whoever you pick take a little longer, but we're on time right now, and very happy with the team. Mr. Yutzi with ZHA has been extremely helpful. He's integrated Mark Johnson into some of the general operating things that he's doing to work with Down to Earth. And we had some growing pains initially with Down to Earth, and they're being addressed. And anything that you hear, we want to know about. And I wanted to make sure that's very clear and highlight the fact that the commission will have the ultimate control in picking that long-term operator. And you're going to have some great opportunity to ask a lot of really good questions as we get through this process of these proposers. I'm looking forward to it. This is an opportunity for us to really take it to the next level and still have a venue that's affordable for our residents. Okay, and I'm sorry I was a little long-winded there, but I'm glad you mentioned sidewalks because we're in Prima Vista now, and they will stay there until those sidewalks are finished.
And one other quick little, when you come off Silver Star Road to down to the lake on the lake shore, is there any way we can put asphalt there? I mean, that never gets fixed. Is when you come off Silver Star, they're coming up to the recording studio. There's nothing but potholes there.
First entrance?
Huh?
The first entrance?
Yeah. When you come off Silver Star Road. All right. Yeah, one other quick thing, the red light camera that Commissioner Oliver brought up. Did we not, that home builder put half the money up for that red light? Yes. Where's that money at? I mean, they got half the money. The county did. They're supposed to put the other up.
Yes, sir. The developer of the Wynwood subdivision provided their portion, their 50% to the county. They also dedicated the land and built the trail. And so it's in the county.
Put that in the letter.
Yes.
Right.
The problem I see is that the money they put up at whatever rate, because again, When they started building that subdivision, it was $250,000. It then went from that to $750,000, probably over $1 million right now.
Right.
Who's going to cover the rest of that cost?
Yeah, it was at that
That
time,
money's
that the
been
rate
going
at the
in.
time of the approval. Yeah.
Yeah.
Supposed to be, supposed to be. All right,
They're trying to take it out of the
let's just put it
CRA.
in the letter that they put the money in, all right? I'll see everybody back on the 17th of June.
Day this weekend,
Thank you.
and that's all I have. No further comments.
All right, Craig, can I, or commissioners, I have sir, did you want to speak tonight? Aren't you the one about the code enforcement?
No, that's not, I understand that's going to be up on the agenda on your next meeting.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure, because I told you.
I know this is my first meeting here, but I did want to offer a little insight.
We can't-
on your zoning issue.
You want to do that tonight?
If,
Well, I'll give you my 5 minutes.
Okay.
Come up to you got to come up to the speaker. Tell them who you are and what board you're on.
Sure, no problem. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Bander, and I chair the Code Enforcement Board for the city of Ocoee. I know you were talking about the issue you were having with the young lady and the parking issue. I wanted to tell you that as from a, obviously we deal with the residential side, not the commercial side. I think the special magistrate handles all the commercial stuff. But the question came up, Mayor, was whether or not if there's a repeat offense, if, are they cited more? Generally, the code enforcement officers, if there is a repeat offense, they let the board know, and the board takes it into consideration when adjusting those fines or what they are. So I didn't bring it up during the time you guys were talking about it, but again, it's my first meeting here for you guys, and usually it's tough for me to keep my mouth shut anyway. So, but I figured I'd come up here and at least say that. So again, when it comes to order and imposing fines and all that stuff, usually it's recommendations by the code enforcement officers that
Yes.
are out there seeing it.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
but as far as anything else goes, we'll hold that off under the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, let's see. Remember, 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock, Friday night, they have a lot of things for the children, a lot of things, activities for the children, a lot of vendors, booths, and some music. So we'll hope to see everybody there. And as Commissioner Kennedy said, Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.